Right then, it's Sunday, the 5th of September, and here in Greece, it's 8 minutes past 7. Over in England, it's 8 minutes past 5. And we've got an update now from Margaret. I don't know if you saw the last time that we was watching Margaret was when she was being evicted or being unlawfully and illegally evicted from her property by unknown men and women that was alleging to be bailiffs, and unnamed alleged policemen and women that aided and abetting with some unknown people, because they never identified themselves or identifying themselves as bailiffs, alleging to have a warrant which obviously doesn't exist. And which was, well, just talking there before we came on here, was about on the recording of this one we're doing now, which was had an invitation to a telephone court hearing, a telephone hearing, where they want to reinstitute do a hearing to reinstitute the warrant. But first of all, to reinstitute something, you have had to have had it in the first place, as my logic would depict. How can you reinstall something that was never there in the first place? So
Exactly.
anyway, just to cap for the people that actually watched, you actually did watch on the live feed that I was doing, myself and Anthony. Margaret also inclusive was on there, before the alleged policeman kindly folded the phone down so that we couldn't see anything else that they was doing in there, although we could still hear it. They physically dragged her out, injuring her, dragging her out of her own property without a warrant, and evicted her from the house. And since then, I mean, a lot of people have been asking, like, you know, how did they get on? We had a few of the names, or a few of the numbers and sort of names of these fictions that was operating as policemen. And I put a call out to try and get their true identity so that we can address them as required. And a lot of people were asking, like, you know, what's happened? What's happened? So on that point then, so from the people that were watching, as all they saw, Margaret, was that you got dragged out of the house and you've lost your house, and that's it. You know, they've done their job. And this is what this pyramid of terror we keep telling about, how the courts and the police and the councils are all working together in unison to enforce this paperwork terrorism, as we might as well call it, because there's nothing authentic about it. It's just paper. And obviously these incompetent morons, which basically are policemen at the moment, that's what they basically are. I mean, that's why they was, I suppose, employed, because they just know enough how to follow an order. They don't understand how to have a look and just check to see whether that paperwork that's given that order is authentic. They'll just do anything they're told, except if, I suppose, if they was told to go and jump off a bridge. I very much doubt they would go and do that, because it meant about themselves. But so long as it's somebody else, they don't care. They'll just do as they're told by all looks of it, and there won't be questions. So Margaret, so where are you right now in this position? So you've been evicted from the house, but where are you now? And I'll let you tell us a bit about what's going on there.
Oh yeah. So the second day I managed to get somebody to, because I called a lot of people that I know who can help me to get back into my house, because I did not even, in the first case, I did not even expect that they will bought the house that very day. Because as soon as they left, I called my insurance to come and reopen the door, because they changed all the locks. And so my insurance was on their way to change the lock for me. Then it was like, I said to myself, I need to get there fast before they get there. So as I came here.
The insurance, did you say the insurance? The insurance company came?
No, for my locks, to change my lock for me.
The insurance man came to do that? Who came to change your locks for you? And the insurance, or just a friend?
Just a friend, sorry. Just a friend.
Okay, okay.
Just a friend was coming on his way to change the lock for me. And I kind of rushed to get here, because I have to go to my daughter's place when I left here.
Okay.
So as I got here, I found out that they already bought the property. They already bought up, down, everything. They nearly finished. So
Right.
something said to me to go and ask them questions, but something said to me, no, just leave. So I left. I called Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Anthony, I wanted to come and change the lock, and the man is on his way coming to change the lock for me. He told me that he's stopping by to buy the locks, and he will meet me here in about 10, 15 minutes. And the whole property is boarded already, you know, just so fast.
Wow. So they by boarding, yeah, by boarding, when they come to do the boarding, that they take the glass out of the windows and they clamp both sides. So
Yeah, I still have all the boarding on the floor there. They are still on the floor there anyway. And I quickly called the guy to go, you know, to forget about it. So the guy forgot about it, and then I have to make an arrangement to call somebody else. Anybody that I call, they goes, oh, sorry, I think the council, if it's not illegal, the council will not have allowed it. I said, no, please, the council don't even know about this, please. But luckily I got somebody that agreed to come and do it, but the guy just said to me, you know what, I will just let you in and collect your clothes. I feel pity for you the way you are, just like this. I can't leave you like this. My heart just, you know, I can't just leave you like this, to go naked like this. I need to help you get in and get your clothes. So the guy came in and took us ages. Heavy rain was pouring, and he let me in. And I said, oh, you know what, thank you very much. I just want you to help me to remove all the boarding as well. He goes, no, you get arrested. I said, no, I'm staying here with you. You don't worry, when the police come, they will arrest me, not you. You are not the owner of the house. I am the owner of the house. Just please help me to remove all the board. He said, okay, I can only do the downstairs, and then I'll come back tomorrow. And he did the downstairs for me. And the next day he came to remove the rest of it. And I cleaned my house up and I stayed.
Beautiful.
And then I see strange people coming to walk around the house. They just walk past. They don't say nothing. They walk past. They were walking around the house. They never said nothing to me. And then just about 4 or 5 days later, I got a paper through the door saying that I have a telephone hearing. That they want to restitute the warrants. So I called Anthony and I said, Anthony, this is the letter that I got. He said, okay, no problem. So we wrote, you know, we have to write to the council again, write to SRA again, write to ombudsman, write to the police, to tell these people to produce their warrant and the unknown people that came to the house to assault me. Mm-hmm. Because we don't know who these people are as we are talking. We don't know.
Have you asked? So you've asked for the identity. So you've asked originally, yeah, for the warrant that you require. Yeah. That's got an embossed seal with a wet ink signature. There's got an actual case and reference to and a filing fee that's been paid to produce that is valid and authentic.
Yeah.
You also asked for the names of the alleged policeman that was there, and also of the alleged bailiffs that was there. Yeah. That's what you've asked for them to provide. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was surprised in their letter, they got a guy, I think he was the locksmith man, who made a witness statement saying that when they got here, they showed me the warrant and they showed me their ID, and I was violent, I was abusing them. The way my character was made them call the police, and the police came and helped them to be able to lock me out, you know, get me out of the house.
This was a witness statement, you believe, from the locksmith, who stated that the bailiffs identified themselves and that they showed you a warrant. Before the police came.
Yeah.
Wow. So you've got this man hook, line, and sinker then for perjury. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, and then there is a solicitor there that applied for the N244 that is saying that the application, and it wants to, it couldn't sign his signature. They have to use a typewriter to sign a signature. If you see the signature, you can see that it's just fake signature on the whatever paperwork they produce. And the witness statement, there was no signature. So Friday, they said 2 p.m. And I have been on sick leave. And my sick leave finished on the 1st of September. And I called my doctor, and my doctor gave me, reissue me a new sick note, a fit note, which we sent to them. And to say that, plus my chest, sorry, I forgot to say, the next day, I started feeling chest pain. I am still having that chest pain now as I'm talking. As I'm talking, I can feel pain inside my chest here, especially to my back here.
Yeah.
Then I went to the hospital. I called my doctor first the other day because I can't leave the house. They were just parading this place in case there is a space for them to relock the building again. So I could not leave the house. So I have to call my doctor. My doctor said, why don't you go to the A&E? Go to the A&E, that's where you should be. I said, well, I'm sorry, I can't leave the house with the state, with the state. I don't have anybody in the house. Yeah. If I live here, they will burn the house again. Yeah. So my doctor said, well, I feel very sorry for you, but you have to find a way to go to the hospital. So I managed to get somebody to come and live here for me to go to the hospital for them to have me checked. But unfortunately, I think when I mentioned police, the hospital, for some reason, they did not do the scan because my doctor wanted them to do a scan to check my chest and my back where the pain is. But they just say, oh, okay, we give you some tablets. They just gave me a tablet, minister tablet, but they did not do me X-ray.
They wouldn't do the inspection to give you the evidence to show the damage that the policeman had done to you by chucking you out. So
yes.
Because you mentioned it was the police that had done the damage to them, they wouldn't help you. They would know.
No, they wouldn't.
Wow.
They wouldn't.
Wow. This gets better, doesn't it?
So
the hospital themselves would not provide you the material evidence to substantiate the damage that the policeman had done to you by forcibly evicting you by their belligerent terrorism they'd created, which we witnessed that day. Wow.
Yes, they wouldn't, because I mentioned police. So I was like, oh my God, I shouldn't have mentioned police. I should have just said, oh, somebody, So they didn't do the X-ray up to now. And they said, well, if I have to do the X-ray, I have to go back to my doctor for my doctor to refer me back and all that. So anyway, I forgot all about that. And since then, they have been parading until I got that shocking express telephone hearing.
To reinstate something that didn't exist in the first place.
Exactly. Telephone hearing. Yeah. And they are not legit. And so they are telling me that they're doing telephone hearing. Yeah. And we find out that the email, the court email that is sent is different from the main court email. Their own email is separate, but it's written Northampton, wherever. Anybody can use Northampton to create an email. That's what they did. It was different from the court inquiry email. So this whole thing, we just find out that they're all fake. And they just carry on because the police won't do anything. The SRA won't do anything. The council won't do anything. Yeah, and the council, I think when I talked to my doctor the second time, I think my doctor mentioned something to the council. So the council just pretend and reply to me and say, oh, Margaret, we are really sorry to hear that you are having problem with your landlord. Could you send us your name and your date of birth and let us have some inquiry? I said, what is, even what they're doing is even affecting me, the way they are pretending what they are doing. I've never, if anybody tell me that this will happen in England, I will never believe it if it did not happen to me. That England can be so rotten, can be so corrupt, even more than the other third world country can be corrupt. Even Afghanistan cannot be like this. What is going on in England today?
Exactly.
Whatever you need, can you believe the Citizen Advice Bureau is telling me to go and get a solicitor, to go and pay a solicitor to ask these people for the document. I need to go and that they won't do it. I need to go and pay a solicitor to do it.
Yeah, they're all gay. I mean, when people see the game, how it's been rigged, you can see it for what it is. This is why they're trying to create joinder with your birth certificate. They're trying to get you to be the birth certificate. That's why they want the date of birth.
Yeah.
So basically, I mean, when you look, I mean, all of these agencies, they're all set up in there. for people to complain. Well, men and women don't complain. Men and women make claims. They don't complain. Yeah. And that's what they want you to do, is to get you wrapped up in this complaint world where they can just take you off any direction and take you down a path where you're never going to come from. So we just, like you say, we stick to the points, which is the points are they've made the claim, now produce material evidence to substantiate it, which they've never done and they never can do. And how can you reinstitute something that didn't exist? And reinvent, I think, is what they should have said. We want to reinvent something because it was never invented in the first place. So we have to create this reinvention. Yeah. So that we can actually now have you and say, here's a warrant. Look. So, hang on. So at the beginning of this, when this on this actual time that they came and they used belligerent as the belligerent terrorists as they was that we've caught on witness. Yeah, and they forcefully dragged you out of your property to steal your property from you. Yeah, I asked Anthony, because I said, look, let's find the names. I wanted the names, and he said that Margaret's phoned them up. He said Margaret's phoned the police up, and what happened to that when you phoned the police up asking them?
I phoned the police up. The police said, sorry, they can't help me, and they sent me a link as well. They said I should go through a link. And in that link, I should click something and I should make a complaint to request for what I wanted, to the information that I wanted. Yeah. I said, can't you just give me the information? He said, no, I have to go through that link. So I went through that link and there was nothing as such. Whatever they wanted me to use the link for, there was nothing there for such information. Yeah. So, they're not doing their job.
Yeah, so what they're doing is they're sending you on that loop around, just trapping with inside the loop. Now, also, I also heard, and I don't know if this is correct or not, but you can correct me if I'm wrong, but on that day that somebody allegedly phoned some policeman up, that these alleged policemen that came down that was there to assist and aid some people that were alleging themselves to be bailiffs. Yeah. Although there's no record of that, there's no record of a crime number or a phone for assistance or record of whoever it was that phoned up to assist them. There's no record of that, I believe. Yeah. No. Also on that day or the day previous to that actual event happening was when they stole your house off you. You phoned the police up, I do believe, and asked for their assistance. Yeah.
Yes, I did.
And I believe that the day after they stole your house off you, those police phoned you up. Is that right? They phoned you back up and said that you rang us up. Sorry, we couldn't make it or something. Yes. And you told them basically what had happened, if I'm rightly so. And they said to you, we've seen the camcorders, we've seen the cam recording, the body cameras, the body cams of the policemen, and you was kicking them or something.
The line is dropping.
Oh, the line, can you still hear me? So it's okay this end anyway. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me, yeah? And on that, and they said that they had seen the body cams.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
They said, can you hear me okay? Yeah, they said that they'd seen the body cams and that you was kicking them or something like that. And you asked them for the names of the alleged policeman that was there, and they wouldn't give them to you. Is that right?
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. So the police that you phoned up to aid you.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what he told me.
They phoned you the day after. They phoned you back the day after. They didn't come down and aid you like you'd phoned them up.
Yeah.
Somebody else don't have to give their name to who phoned them up, and they come down and aid and assist some unidentified people alleging to be bailiffs, and they'll come down there and enforce an illegal warrant which doesn't exist.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm explaining it like this for the people to understand, because they need to let this sink in about what paper terrorism is and what Anthony's been exposing all this time, because this isn't just with what your house. This is inclusive of the people's children. It's inclusive of all the things that these alleged courts are doing. Because remember, obviously, if it's a court of public court, there's a record. But there is no records. There's no record of yours, and I mean, in the time that I've been helping with Anthony and exposing this and helping other people to request their caseman file 1, 2, and 3. You know, just so that they can see that there's been an information lay at the court, so that they can see that there's a filing fee been paid and there's a receipt for that filing fee, and to see that those proceedings, those alleged proceedings, have actually been issued by the court and been served upon the person that is being allegedly being summoned or invited to the court. And this is what was in that case, 1, 2, and 3, just to prove that it's a valid and authentic court case and that no procedure has been broke. And this is what. And the reason, because, I mean, obviously, you know now, because obviously Anthony's shown you, I take it, because you didn't realise, I take it at the beginning before Anthony came in and explained to you about the procedures of how a court system must work for it to be authentic, So he found that your warrant was a non-existent warrant. It's just a piece of paper. It's just a piece of paper that somebody inside that court building who is operating in fraud has just printed a piece of paper off because he's got his friends within the council who want the house, who's got friends within inside the police station, that when they present this piece of paper, they'll enforce it as a warrant. So they'll give it to their little bailiff boys, who, whether they're bailiffs or what, they're just thugs anyway at the end of the day, because
they are thugs. They're not bailiffs.
No, they're well, at the end of the day, I can say with confidence, under the penalty of perjury, that they are criminals because they've enforced a piece of paper as an authentic and valid warrant, which is a counterfeit warrant, and that's a crime. So they are criminals. The police are criminals because they aided and abetted in a crime. They wasn't there to help you or aid you, which is what they're there paid to do, and they've sworn an oath to do so. You know, so you know, I can safely say, under the penalty of perjury, they are all criminals because they acted in a crime, and that was a crime what they did to you that day.
Yes, that's what is going. That's what happened.
Yeah, absolutely. So, on the note sheet, we say you've sent letters or emails, should I say, to the SRA, which is not the Satanic Ritual Abuse, which all these people are, but the Solicitors Regulation Authority.
Yes.
You've sent to the council. Was that the CEO of the council?
Yes.
And that's the council of the Northampton Council,
Northampton Council, yeah.
And you've also sent to the Ombudsman. The Ombudsman. Now, you were saying on the day that this is all in front of the Ombudsman already.
Yeah.
So what did the Ombudsman? So out of was there any other email? So you've sent to the SRA, which is the Solicitors Regulation Authority. You've sent to the CEO of the council. You sent to the Ombudsman. Is there any other letters you've sent out to?
To the police and to the commission, information commissioner. Yeah.
Okay, so to the information commissioner and also to the police. And out of those 5 emails that you've sent out, you've had a response back from who?
Only first of all the SRA and then the council.
The council's given a response as well, yeah?
The council, recently but they said I need to send my name and address for them to look into the issue.
Okay, and the SRA, the SRA,
the SRA in the first case said I need to send my name and my date of birth for them to look into the issue. But when on last Friday, when we sent another letter, 2 people replied and said, okay, they received the letter, we hear from them soon. They are investigating it, we hear from them soon. They didn't mention like send your name, but I don't know if that's what they're going to send back to say I need to send my name and my date of birth for them to look into the issue.
They sent that first of all, then you sent them a very straight and very
the fake warrant,
very straight to the point letter back to them, and they haven't asked. They said that they're going to look into it now.
Yes, they just replied.
They're no longer asking for your fictional identity. They're going to look into it because they'll be okay. That's it's encouraging. Have you sent one back to the council on the same grounds, and like you have to the SRA yet?
We haven't heard back from the council. We haven't heard back from only SRA.
Okay.
And the police said I need to send my name and my address for them to look into the issue as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So so I mean, from what I mean, to add my tuppence worth to my tuppence worth is basically what they're after is your legal embodiment. That's what they're wanting. The reason I say this is because I picked up on somebody else the other day, and he was in a bus, and the bus driver abused him or whatever, and this guy sent a complaint into the bus, and funny enough, he asked the bus company asked him for his name, his date of birth, and his national insurance number. Yeah, and then they paid him out. They paid him out, and the game is here. It's because it's all corporations. Because the courts themselves, they take in the legal embodiment. That's what they're taking in. They're taking the legal embodiment, which is our birth certificate, our legal fiction, our legal embodiment.
Yeah.
So they're trying to create joinder with your legal fiction, because a corporation can only operate with a corporation, because these are all corporations. You see, who the one that's taking your house off you, the one that's trying to take your house off you is I take it will be Northampton County Council, yeah.
Yes, yes.
So is that a Mr. or Mrs. Northampton County Council?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
This is my point here is just to show you what I've come to understand, you know, because at the end of the day, it isn't a man or a woman that's taking you to court. It isn't a man or a woman that's taking your house off you. It's not Northampton County Council, which is a corporation. A corporation isn't a living, breathing man. So the corporation could never have written any of these documents out, because it's only a man or woman that could write these documents.
Yes.
And they're trying to create joinder with your legal embodiment, which is your birth certificate name, yeah, or your legal fiction, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what that's why all the letters came to you, and it would have been in all capitals.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm saying this is because it's a good time to speak it, because of the people listening, because this is just my point, because this is what the Baron David Ward, when we came to what the Baron David Ward did, you know, because at the end of the day, he won with his legal fiction because he was the Attorney General of his legal fiction. So you know how they want you to get a lawyer. They this is the way they've got it rigged. You know, if they're giving you something, there's a trick behind it. Yeah. They do it everything else, like, you know, same with going here. If you go to these people, they'll help you. This is the Citizens Advice Bureau. You go to these people, these will help you. You go to these and make the complaint to these. You know, if they're giving you these places, you know that this is a gatekeeper 101. They've all been trained in to put you off, to make you fight it so long until you just run out of money or give up because you just can't be bothered anymore, because they just wrapped you around in circles and led you down too many garden paths and you'll never get anywhere. But the other thing is, when they're taking you into a court, is why they want you to have a lawyer is pure and simple. Yeah. The reason they're giving you a lawyer is because the lawyer is a member of the Bar Association. He's sworn an oath, yeah, and his loyalty, first and foremost, is to the judge.
Yeah.
So they want to give you somebody to represent your legal embodiment, so that you can no longer represent your legal embodiment, because you're now an incompetent ward of the state. So you can't speak, and that lawyer is now going to speak for you. But ultimately, you have to understand, as I've just told you, that the lawyer, first and foremost, is for the judge. So when you get a lawyer, regardless to anybody out there who thinks that they won by getting a lawyer and they've got a good lawyer and they won, you've got to understand this. Everybody has already lost. Everybody who's had a lawyer already lost. But obviously, to keep this illusion alive, they have to throw in the every now and again that somebody wins. Because if it was all lose, 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 they would soon, everybody would see it for what it was. It's just a game. So obviously, anybody who's got a lawyer, no, you was just the lucky one that they decided that they would let you off. Nobody ever wins. And you've all been fleeced anyway, because all your bond, be it true or not, whether there's a bond there or not, the 1666 SQV Trust, and whether your birth, they live off this. They're charging your bond, so you've already paid up anyway.
Yeah.
So they're a win-win all the way along. Right? This is why I suggest everybody, you are the lawyer. You are, as the Baron was. He was his own lawyer. He was the Attorney General of his legal fiction. Yeah. And he requested from them what any of these acts or statutes they're applying on any man or woman out there, yeah, all, even from Theresa May, and you heard it from the chief superintendents, they all state police is by consent. All their acts and statutes requires the consent of the man or woman, yeah, or the person, which is what they're trying to say. They require the consent of the governed to be able to enforce any of those acts and statutes upon them, just like any other corporation. Like if you go into McDonald's, you have to have a contract with McDonald's for the McDonald's to be able to enforce its rules and regulations upon you. If you're not a member of McDonald's and you're walking past McDonald's, they can't tell you, hey, you've got to wear this hat, you know, you've got to wear this type of jacket, because it's jog on. I'm not a member of your corporation. I've never signed any of your corporation. I've never given you the consent to tell me what to do, or enforce any of your rules and regulations on me. So on you go. And that was basically what the Baron was explaining to everybody, that these corporations, require your consent. So what the Baron did, as the Attorney General for his legal fiction, was ask them to provide the material evidence to substantiate their claim that these acts and statutes could be enforced upon him, meaning they have to provide a wet ink signature, on a consent to be governed form for them to make the claim that he has given that consent to be able to enforce those acts and statutes upon him. But he didn't just do it for himself, because he was in England at the time in 2013. There was 63.5 million people in England at that time, and in the UK. So he asked for them to provide the 63.5 million wet ink signatures on a consent to be governed form, so that he could then see for a fact that the British people, or the English people, have given their consent to be governed. Because if there wasn't, if they're not the governed, they can't produce the material evidence to say that they're governed. There cannot be a government, because one cannot exist without the other. You've got to have governed to be able to have a government. So that was the simple point. So he proved it, and his case was ruled out as no contest. They couldn't contest him, because none of their acts or statutes could force upon him. So they folded. They yielded. They yielded to the fact, because it was only over a parking ticket. But this is the game. I mean, with what Anthony's doing. See, a lot of people can't. I mean, I don't know if that's sunk into you, but it took a long time for it to sink into me. So don't think bad that you can't grasp what I've just said there, because like I say, it took a long time for me to sink in, and especially about what the legal embodiment was. But the point here is, what Anthony's doing here, Anthony's showing something that you can physically see and touch and hold, that people can see. Very simple, that there's a procedure. Everyone can see that. Everybody knows that B does not come before A. A comes first, then B comes, then C comes. So before there's a court case, there has to be, a court case is up the list. First of all, there has to be an information laid at that court. Because there has to be an information for there to be a court case number. Because the court case number is generated when the information's been laid at the court, which is what we're doing by what you're exposing. And for a warrant to be, there has to be a filing fee. All these things are on this case management file that we've been trying to get everybody to ask, because if everybody would just put the pressure on, this is how we hold these courts. This is what I'm saying. I mean, and I agree with what Anthony's saying. Because if we get this in masses, if everybody, because most people have either been taken or are being taken to a court one way or the other, and all they have to do is, like what you've done, is request the case management file just to prove to the fact that there's no record of it, guys. And when you realize that there's no record of it, you know, for a fact that it was a private court. It wasn't a court. It had no authority of the court. And just what they've done to you, and like I say, people say, but they do this. Oh, look, you've seen what they've done to Margaret. The last video with Margaret on, you saw her getting dragged out of the house, kicking and screaming, and demanding that they produce the material evidence to substantiate their claim, which was the warrant, which never existed. So with all intents and purposes, yes, is the reality is they will still continue to do what they do, because they have got the force. Because our force is knowledge, and we lack that yet, and that force comes with the numbers, which is why Margaret is doing this video, because this is what I'm doing this video too, and as well as I've been helping with Anthony, because this is where the people where we as people stand together and understand exactly why these courts, because it's our duty as men and women to hold these people to account and stop allowing them to get away with this. And they haven't got away with Margaret. She's sitting right now comfortably in her house that they forcibly tried to drag her out, or they didn't forcibly try, they did forcibly dragged her out, belligerent terrorists acting completely illegal, and now you're sitting back in your house now, and now they have tried to invent another alleged court case being held in the private again, because there's not going to be any. Was there a case number, by the way? Did they give you a case number to that?
Well, I think they have the same case number.
Have you sent in the request for the case number for the file view on that case number on this new alleged case?
The line is dropping.
Is it dropping again? It's I don't know if it's okay by it. It looks like it's okay my end. It might be just, but it looks okay. I can still see you okay. Hopefully it's coming across okay anyway. I'm recording it like I say anyway. But the point is on this, you know what you said to me? You said that they've sent you another alleged hearing, but we haven't. Have we tried to authenticate that hearing yet? Have we asked them to authenticate that hearing? I.e., have we asked them to produce the material evidence that a case management file is to this new number? Have they given you a new case number?
Yes, but we have written to them to supply the case the receipts, because they are claiming 1,000 something for the invoice, for the hearing. So we have written to them to provide the receipts.
All right. Oh yeah. So that was right. Yeah, because there was VAT on one of what receipt was that? What receipt was that for?
They say it's solicitor fee.
Yeah, and there was a £75 VAT charge on that, wasn't it? So they were saying there was VAT registered.
Yeah, something like VAT and all that. I think it was. Let me see. Yeah.
So what was the receipt for?
Yeah, that's what I want to double check now.
Yeah. Okay. So this receipt then, this is a receipt now for where they've alleged £75 of that receipt, of this invoice, this bill, whatever they're requiring of money off you for. £75 of that was a charge for VAT. So therefore then the VAT man should be inspecting this, surely. The VAT man should see the receipt for this £75 invoice that he's giving out.
Exactly.
Yeah. So very interesting.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
Who are we talking about? It's this is Margaret Bass. If I don't know if you saw there was a video that we did. We did two videos actually with Margaret.
Yeah.
The first time was when the police. Margaret phoned. It's same again actually. Same thing happened both times. Margaret phoned the police to be there for her, and allegedly the alleged bailiffs had phoned the police to be there for them as well. But the first time, which was the second time that the police had been round, or the bailiffs had been, or alleged bailiffs had been round, the police, neither the police came for them, and neither the police came for Margaret, and the bailiffs went away. But on the third attempt, they came round. Margaret again phoned the police to be there for her, and they didn't show up. But some alleged, whether they were police or whatever, turned up for whoever these were, which was alleging to be bailiffs. Yeah, they turned up to them and enforced a piece of paper, which they alleged to be a warrant, which isn't a warrant, and there's no record of that ever being a warrant. So what's this piece of paper then?
It's a statement of cost summary. Statement of cost summary. I can't see any VAT paid here. They mentioned 160 letter out email, and
And who was that from?
From the solicitor.
Oh, from the
So
solicitor.
yes, the total cost is 1,184. They charge for the.
And the breakdown of that, I take it that will be alleged court costs and things like that.
Cost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if they're charging you the 1,000 and this VAT and everything, obviously they're charging you that because they've paid that out.
Yeah.
So they've paid that out. They're obviously going to have some receipts for those payments that they paid out. They're going to be able to produce. Yeah. So this is the secondary way of when the courts totally ignore you, carry on, and then send you the court costs and all this. So this is the thing. This is the reason why people need to understand. If it's gone through the correct procedure and there is a public record of it, then this money is going into the public purse.
Yeah.
So this is where people need to understand, because if it's in the private, yeah, then they're still charging you these fees, but there's no receipts for them, remember, guys? And the money's going into these, which is why I don't know if you know about the 788 790 Finchley Road, Margaret. Do you know that?
No.
No? Well, this was something I was exposing years ago with a man called Gordon Bowden, who had exposed, well, it wasn't just him that had exposed, he had been exposed before this. But 788 790 Finchley Road is two little buildings that are joined together. It's a semi-detached, I suppose you would call it. Two little buildings, two little offices. And in this 788 790 Finchley Road, which is ironically owned by the Rothschilds, yeah, is there was over, I think it got to over 209,000, that'd be more, but over 209,000 companies in this little 788 790 Finchley Road building. And these 209,000 companies, in these there was property developments, there was oil and gas and mining companies, and these gas and mining companies had never, although had billions of pounds put in them, they had never actually got a thimble full of oil. So what I'm trying to say is, what we was exposing was that these companies that they was alleging was money laundering. So when you've got courts, yeah, that are being hijacked by privateers operating in the private, pretending to be courts, doing what they're doing to you, taking your houses off you, taking children off and taking all this, they make a hell of a lot of money. And that lot of money they've got to put somewhere. So what they do is they use conduits, i.e. like 788 790 Finchley Road, with these alleged companies, these Ponzi scams, that they funnel their money into and straight into offshore bank accounts. So I'm just so that you understand, you know, because it's like anything else. If you're a drug dealer or anything else, you can make a hell of a lot of money, but it's no
That's what they do.
You can sit on all these piles of money, and you've got to have somewhere to put it. So that's where money laundering comes in, and that's what 788 790 Finchley Road was all about. So you know, if they'd have exposed these things, is what I was trying to do, you would have exposed all the criminals, like. But unfortunately, when you're exposing all the criminals, you end up finding out that all those criminals are the police, are the courts, are the government. So it becomes very difficult, because you just become a target. And that's why John Patterson was taken away, and so on and so forth. These people that expose this disappear because they've got all their helpers, which is the pyramid of terror, which is what Tarek has come out and called it. You know, but the pyramid itself gets a lot bigger than just the pyramid, you know, because they've got all their others, i.e. all their other gatekeepers, i.e. the Citizens Advice and the CQC, and you know, all the hospitals, because this is how they see, when you've caught them out full bore, they can only call the mental health card on you, can't they? They just pull that on you, and they say you're mentally ill, then get your section. Or like they did with Carol Woods, who was blowing the whistles on the counsellors for child trafficking because she was a social worker. They tortured her for 19 years, stroke 20. And then eventually it was coming to the time where there was something coming out, which was about the Blackpool, this land lease, where they was trying to build this massive casino on. And they wanted her gone because she had got the evidence of perjury on Cherie Blair, Tony Blair's miss, or whatever it is.
Oh, right.
Yeah? So she'd got some very, very dangerous stuff. So what the council did was they called their mates up in the pyramid of terror. Hello, Mr. Court. hello, Mr. Is that the Crown Prosecution Service? Are you working under the same guise as the you know, my boss? You know who? Yeah, we're working in the private. Yeah, I need this woman gone. So can you make a piece of paper? This warrant terror again. Can you make an alleged warrant up and get your mates with inside the police, yeah, to go around and enforce this warrant and get her took into the hospital, because there are other coercers, you know, there are other conspirators. And when you get her into the hospital, they'll section her, give her a section 2, they'll stick her straight on a section 3, so that they never have to come back to this piece of paper and say, this is how we got her in there in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? Because it never existed. So that's what they did with Carol Woods, and what they did with John Patterson, as you know, the same as what they're doing with you, with an alleged court case. And this is how they're doing it, because they're all in on it. And this is what we're up against. If about an us and them scenario is the fact is the only us and them is the masters and servants. The difference is the servants have got this idea that they're the masters. And the only reason they've got the idea that they're the masters is because the true masters have been asleep at the wheel. And we've been indoctrinated in a way so that we couldn't see what was right in front of our faces, that we are the true masters, we are the government, they are the governed, because we the people created the government and we control what we create, but the people have been asleep. I say we've been asleep at the wheel, and you are a part of the holding them to account. And this is what we as the people, you know, if we're going to have a controlled government, you know, because we are the people, we are the true government. So if we are going to have a government, or what we people class as a government, or servants, public servants, if we're going to have public servants, we need to be, as the public, holding them servants to account. And what you're doing right now, and what Anthony's doing, and what many other people are doing, is holding these people to account. And with what you're doing, you're showing with the paperwork how they're breaching their procedures, so that there's no dispute in it, because you've got the 100% verifiable facts. You can stand there with confidence. You know that there's a crime being done. You can prove with the material evidence to substantiate your claim that there was a crime being committed. The only difference is we haven't got the ears of the people to stand up with you, and the ears of them public servants, who are working in the private with the rest of the privateers, doing what they do because they've got the guns and clubs and they think, screw you. We know where we are. They know ultimately, truth will always prevail, and truth will prevail, and it'll only prevail with people like yourself, people like Anthony Baddeley, and people like everybody else, and you know, everybody that's doing their bit to shine the light on these servants, to hold them as they're accountable by exposing them with the solid hardcore facts that they can't dispute. So when's the I mean, I take it obviously, when was that court? Was you given a date for this alleged hearing?
Oh yeah, it was on Friday, isn't it? They just gave me a day to prepare. They didn't give me any date time to prepare. They just tell me 2 days before, on Friday.
They told you, so they told you Wednesday.
Yeah.
You're in an alleged court on Friday. And,
on Friday.
And that court is a Zoom. It's
a telephone. It's a telephone hearing.
It's a telephone hearing.
Yeah. So it was terrified. It was, when I saw it, I said, my God, these crooks. So they just using an opportunity now to quickly, how can you be having a telephone hearing in this kind of case? I don't think that's proper. And how can you not give me time to prepare for my case? And plus, I am not feeling well. They're beating me half dead, and they want me to attend the telephone hearing by force. And I quickly wrote to the court to say that I won't be able to attend the hearing because of my state.
The main thing here is, because we always have to keep bringing ourselves back to the point, because you've said there a few times there, it's a case. First things first, yeah. Just again for the people, you know, yeah. Here's the case. Here's the case, and here's the court, which is the proceedings, yeah, the paper. So when this, which is the information that was laid at the court. So when the information is laid at the court, they put the information in the case. Yeah. That's when it becomes a case, because there's a court within inside the case. So this is now a court case. But as you know, when you've asked, there is nothing in the case because there's no case file. So
no case file.
There's no case file. There's no case. So there's nothing that you can answer to because you've never been served with any proceedings issued by the court.
No.
So when they've said to you that they're saying to you to reinstate or to reinvent, they want to reinvent another case by grafting on another case number, which isn't a case number. They call it a case number. We can't call it a case number until it's been verified. You know, until they can provide the material evidence to substantiate that's a case number. Yeah, it's just a number. It's just some words written on a piece of paper. Yeah? But they haven't done. So they give you till Friday. So that obviously that alleged whatever it was has gone ahead, and you've not heard nothing since because that was only yesterday anyway. So there'll be I take it that there's going to be a new alleged piece of paper that's going to be floating around on a new warrant that they're going to be trying to say that's been generated from something that didn't exist while it was all in the private. So that I mean, like I say, this is for the listeners, because remember, for a start off, they've never shown anything. They've never shown that there was any paperwork in any case. They've never shown that there was ever an information laid at a court for the court to have issued any proceedings. You've never been issued with any proceedings issued by the court, so the court has got no proof of service that you've ever been served with any. So none of this is in the case. There's never been a filing fee to create that case, and there's no receipt for that filing fee. Yet you've got a 1,000 something odd, which are court costs and all this lot. They've not presented you any receipts to say this is what I've had to pay out. So you've got to replenish me because this is what you've cost us. So they've got to show you all these things. None of these things can be shown because it's all an illusion, but it's very real, very real. It's not an illusion actually. It's an absolute crime, and it's absolute blackmail. It's torture. It's whatever you want to call it, guys. You know, it is what it is. It's a load of people working together are conspiring against the people that. Most of the people are completely oblivious. They're completely oblivious of it because they are all good people that we just trust in our public servants to do the right thing because that's what they've sworn on an oath to do. And we just generally think that these people are good people and they would do it. That's the majority of the people because they've never stopped to question. They never asked them to prove anything because they willfully accepted it. And by the way, that is what they class as consent because you've tacitly agreed to it, because you just accepted it because you thought that they would be honest. And that's totally acceptable, but we'll stop doing it because we must realize, and hopefully this video, will make you realize exactly what they are actually doing, which is they are 100%, and I can verify this as a fact and provide the material evidence because we've got it. We've got the recording previously. We've got the fact that they've never, ever given you anything from the court because nothing actually came from the court itself because there's never actually information lay at the court. This is just a group of people within inside the council, within inside the police, and within inside the courts that are all operating in the shadows, working in the private, just taking the paperwork. I mean, it's not even the paperwork from the courts. They're just making it up. They
print it out.
Yeah, and there's obviously there's people within inside those courts, within inside that council, and within inside the police that are all working, colluding, because when you put the complaints in, they try and deviate it, and they're taking, they're getting the letters. So you send it to this building. So these criminals, these buildings have got criminals working inside it, and they're all working together as a team. This is why it's the numbers, and this is why the numbers of the people needs to raise. We need to raise the numbers of the people because it's all about the 100th monkey, as the saying goes. When the people's knowledge of what's actually going down raises, these will stop feeling so confident that they can just go around and follow these orders. because we'll always err to the benefit, and we'll always give air to caution that these are just good people following orders, didn't grasp to the fact that they could actually be given orders because of the decompartmental. They only know what they know because that's the compartment that they are in, they're trapped in. They can't think outside of the box that they've been put into. So, you know, first and foremost, they're just doing their job. But ultimately, they have been informed of the wrongs, and you clearly informed them that they had to produce that material evidence, which anybody knows. The maximum law is he who makes the claim carries the burden of proof. They made the claim that it was a warrant. They made the claim that the warrant was authentic and it was been issued by the court. Could they produce that material evidence?
No.
Absolutely not. Did they produce that material evidence? Have they ever produced that material evidence? No. But they continued regardless, without having any authority, knowingly and willfully continued, which is belligerent acts of terrorism, and that's without a doubt on all of them. So they're all malfeasance in office, which is up to life imprisonment. And to be truthful, until the people get together and shine the light on it, they're going to continue to do what they're doing. Anyway, Margaret, it's I'm 4 minutes late for work, so I'm going to get off now. But hopefully this will go out there. I'll upload it onto YouTube as well afterwards. And the names of the people that I put a shout out. I also did a video asking for the names of the alleged officers and the alleged bailiffs. If anybody working within the police, anybody that's working with the police, we're not here to cause trouble. None of us want trouble. We just want justice. We want what's just. We want what's just. We want what's correct. And if there's wrong's been done, equity states a remedy has to be provided. Any of you policemen and women out there that have gone into that job and that career honestly and with honor, because they wanted to go and do what they, you know, most of them I would imagine did, go in there to actually do a good job. Just remember what I'm trying to say about decompartmental. When you've been compartmentalized, because that's the only thing you, just remember one thing. First and foremost, you're a man and a woman. You have an opinion. You have an opinion of your own. And if you're taking on a job, and you're giving orders, just remember one other thing, you know about the Nuremberg trial, and the simple thing is just following orders is not going to save you. Ignorance of the law, as you also know, is not going to help you. It's going to be your downfall, guys, So please, any of you policemen and women out there listening to this, please provide us the information. We want to know the names of the men and women. We're going to give them the opportunity to cure. We're going to give them the opportunity to provide or be a part of the breaking of this screwed up system. Because together, because even the men and women, they're men and women, they're brothers and sisters of us. Even though they've been turned into this mentality, to the police, I'm telling you now, because I know you've all been trained up in the same, because the police wanted me to work for them. And I know, that you've been told about the foxhound mentality. We are not the foxes, guys. We are not the foxes. We are your masters and you are our servants. Bear that in mind and remember, and that is what you took that oath for. And that's what you're doing there, meant to be standing there as constables. So join in, for God's sakes, because you know what's happened. You've seen what's been done to Margaret, and there is not one inkling of any evidence to substantiate that Margaret is in any way, shape or form wrong. The wrongs have been completely done to Margaret, and those wrongs need to be provided with a remedy, and you are the ones that are meant to be providing it. So get off your bums, for God's sakes, and do your job and get this dealt with, please. Anything else you would like to suggest, Margaret?
I would like people to believe what I'm saying is not, for like I said initially, if this did not happen to me, if anybody tell me that there is corruption so high level in England, I will never believe it. And I want people to wake up. They should wake up, because I think everybody in England is sleeping. You have to verify when somebody comes to you with something. You are, especially like I am. I know who my mortgage lender was. I know from the beginning, these people were not my mortgage lender. This is where this whole case started from. I said, you're not my mortgage lender. Who are you? This is where the whole thing started from. And believe it or not, up to this very minute, these people are not replying to my letters. All the letters that I sent to them to require things to say, provide me with the contract, provide me with the ledger, provide me with the accounting, provide me with my inventory in my property. They just completely ignore my letters, which is only them, because we check the website that they printed the warrant from. There's a warrant, N49. They printed it from a website called Wesley website. There is no Northampton stamp already on the website. So you just need to just print out the warrant from there. That's why they printed that and sent that to me as a warrant. And they have no proof. And I collected my case map file from the court. There is no receipt on my case map file. There is nothing. Even I've attended the court twice. The last court that I attended, the judge went through my file. All the letters that I sent to the court, they don't even put it on my file. Yep. The judge said, I can't see nothing here. Yep. But Margaret, what I'm saying is that why didn't you apply for set aside since 2018? Why? I said, because what am I going to apply for? I'm waiting for them to provide me with my request. They did not provide me with anything. So why should I, what do I do? How do I fight it?
What can you set aside? And just to recap what you was saying for the audience, what Margaret was saying there was, you can go on a website, and you can fill the you can fill your own warranting, guys. It's already got the little button stamp, the button stamp that they class as a court seal, which is not a court seal, as you should know. I mean, Anthony did Anthony Badley, he did a freedom of information. They stated, and actually Anthony's got an actual true warrant with an embossed seal on, and it says a copy is not good enough because a copy is not going to have the embossed seal. A copy is 2-dimensional, embossed is 3-dimensional, and they have to have a wetting signature on them. So there is nothing, it's all paper terrorism, and it's all in the mind, and it's all working within the private, but it obviously requires people within inside these other organizations to enforce these lies as truth. So regardless, in other words, I could go onto this site, I could make a one of these warrants up, because I can go onto the same site as they've done. I can make a warrant up, but the trouble is I couldn't get them. I couldn't get because I haven't got any mates with inside the police force to go around and enforce it. But they have. And those dirty police, you better hand yourselves in, because the truth train's coming. So on that note, Margaret, I better go anyway, because I'm late for work anyway.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. And I need help. Please help me to share, please.
Share it out and get it out there as far as possible. And like I say, anybody can get the names of those people. The video, I'll put the link in the description box, and I'll put this video up, but the other video when they and I'll do the other 2 videos that so we've all got it in one place, so that you can see what they've done to you, because this is a beautiful thing. The beautiful thing is they did it live. They did it live the first time, where they didn't come down because the police were under pressure. They knew that they did, but the third time they've just got to enforce it. They had no option. So, and they sent in whoever they were, these private organization police that was working, because they can't give the names. Probably can't give the names because they weren't on duty.
No, they weren't on duty.
They weren't on duty. They they donned on their outfit, and they came down there and worked within the private to enforce a piece of paper, with some other guys that wouldn't even identify themselves to call themselves bailiffs. So there's the crime, guys. I mean, how much more black and white do you want it? It's simple, and everything that we've stated and everything that Margaret stated, she has the physical and the forensic documents to substantiate everything that we can, and they have nothing. They have nothing. Okay, on that. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Andrew. Bye bye. Thank you. Cheers.